Hello and welcome to the lecture series on automobile engineering. Today we'll discuss about clutches. So clutches are important elements of transmission system. What is a clutch basically? Clutch is basically a mechanism which enables the rotary motion of one shaft to be transmitted to a second shaft, the axis of which is coincident with the first shaft. Okay. So why it is important for automobiles? Because it carries a power from engine to the drive wheels or rear wheels through shafts, and the location is in between the flywheel and the gearbox. So we can say that it is fitted between the flywheel of the engine and the gearbox. So to start with, we'll discuss the requirements of the clutches, why it is required, right? The first requirement is torque transmission. The clutch must be able to transmit the maximum amount of torque of the engine to the rear wheels. Because we have to move the car, we must transmit the torque from the engine to the rear wheels. Second importance is gradual engagement. So suddenly if you want to engage the clutch, that may produce a lot of jerk. Okay, so need a system that is gradually engaging the power and disengaging the power whenever required. So it is also helping in dynamic balancing, vibrational damping. So there should be some mechanism that must be incorporated in the clutch to eliminate the noise produced in the transmission. Okay, and we must prefer that the size of the clutch should be as small as possible. So if it is not possible to use a single plate clutch that is having a bigger diameter, then we may be switching over to the multiple plate clutches or any other type of clutches. Okay, so discussing about the basic components or elements of the clutch, we can start with here. It's a clutch pedal that is being pressed by the driver. That is a pivot point about which it is pivoted. This link connects this pivot joint, pivot point. Okay, this linkage, and this motion is being transmitted to, say we are pushing in this direction, then this lever due to this pivot pin will come in right direction. Okay, towards right side. So the motion of this linkage towards right will tend to move this clutch fork to the left direction because it is pivoted at this end. So entire motion is transmitted from clutch pedal pressed by driver to this pivot pin or clutch fork that presses the clutch assembly. Okay, so we'll see what is happening. So here we can define the location of the clutch. Okay, so this is entire engine system, engine of the car, and fitted with a flywheel. This is flywheel, this is crankshaft, connecting rod, piston, these are valves. So this flywheel is coupled with the housing, and that is the clutch housing. Okay, in that clutch housing we have a single plate clutch like this yellow part is a single plate clutch, and above that there is a pressure plate that pressurizes the friction material over the flywheel's surface. Okay, so this housing is bolted to the flywheel. This clutch housing is bolted to flywheel. We have some bolts through which it is bolted over this flywheel. It means that it rotates with the flywheel. But the drive will be transmitted to this output shaft or input shaft of the gearbox that we have discussed in gearbox only when the clutch is in engaged position. Okay. So we have seen this linkage assembly. This may be fitted with some hydraulic assistance. So like fluid system for hydraulic braking. Okay. So driver presses the pedal, then this motion is transmitted to this, and when this hub is pressed against spring force, what will happen? The clutch will be released. Okay. So normally we can say that clutch is in engaged position, and when the driver presses the clutch pedal, then the clutch gets disengaged. So this drive shaft acts as an input shaft for the gearbox. So this is the clutch gear, this is our counter shaft and counter gears, and this is main shaft and these are the gears as per the gear ratio requirement. And this we have studied in gearboxes. This is the lever that is being operated to shift the clutch, shift the gearbox. So this assembly is the gearbox. Okay, this is gearbox we have already studied. Okay, and this is clutch. So we have to study this element, that is clutch. Okay, so to start with, we'll discuss about the types of clutches. So basically friction material clutch and fluid flywheels are basically two types. So in case of friction clutch, the friction clutch works on the principle that the friction is caused when the rotating disc comes into contact with each other. So there should be some frictional material for engagement, right? For fluid flywheel, the as we have seen in case of torque converters, the flywheel works on the same principle. So there is some fluid inside a system that moves the other system, right? So fluid flywheel works on the transfer of energy from one rotor to the other by means of some fluid, as we have seen in case of torque converters. Okay. So the clutches may be of dry type or wet type. So wet type means they are filled with some lubricant. Okay. So this happens in case of multiple plate clutch. Dry type is without lubricant. So this is basically a clutch with some friction material. Okay, there is no lubrication required for this type of clutch. So we can classify as positive clutch, friction clutch. Friction clutch has some other types like friction or disc clutch, cone clutch, centrifugal clutch, and these two type this plate or disc clutch has single plate clutch or multiple plate clutch. So we'll focus on this side because these positive clutches are like something like chains or gears. They are permanently attached and they may be disengaged when required, and these clutches are basically engaging and disengaging type. So to understand the principle of the clutches, we can see this particular example. Okay, in this image we can see that two discs are there. This is shaft A, shaft B, disc C, disc D. So we can say that we can see here that this shaft is rotating at n rpm, okay, but not transmitting any torque to shaft B. But when they are coupled together like this, CD are coupled together, here they were separated, here they are coupled together, then what will happen? The rpm of shaft A will be transmitted to rpm of shaft B. So when it is possible, so it is only possible when there is a friction material in between C and D. There should not be any slippage. Okay, so the clutches works on this principle only. They have some friction material over here, so that other disc is pushed over it, then they will be able to transmit the torque. Okay, so if this force is applied over the D disc, what will happen? This will enable it to stick with the C disc. So, and if there is some friction material, then the speed of this shaft B will become speed of shaft A. Conditions apply that there should not be any slippage. Okay, so this is the principle of clutch, right? So what is important? The importance is the parameters like what is the axial load that is applied by the driver or by the user. So there should be some friction material. So coefficient of friction of that friction material plays an important role. Then the torque required to be transmitted plays an effective role. Okay, that has to be considered. Then we have to fix the size of the clutch. Okay, so that basically is the from center to this radius, that is known as effective mean radius of friction surface. Okay, so that must be taken care of because this torque is equal to, how can we compute the torque? Torque is equal to basically the multiplication of coefficient of friction, axial load, and this distance from the center, that is r, effective mean radius. Okay, that is important. So if we want to transmit the torque by a friction clutch, so that depends upon three factors: coefficient of friction, axial load, and effective mean radius of the friction surface. So this, what does it mean? It means that increasing or decreasing or all of the above factors would increase the amount of torque which a clutch can be transmitted, okay, through which the torque can be transmitted. But there are upper limits for all these factors, like we use some materials like leather, cork, cotton fabric, or asbestos based materials for as a friction material for clutches. So about the leather, the coefficient of friction lies between 0.27, around 0.27. In case of cork, it is around 0.37. Okay, In case of cotton fabric, the coefficient of friction is 0.4 to 0.5, and the asbestos, which is a generally used material, the coefficient of friction is 0.35 to 0.4. Okay, so that depends upon which material we are preferring. So talking about the axial force, okay, axial force to be applied by the driver, because the driver has to press the pedal. So in case of axial force, there is a limitation, okay, because the maximum value of axial force is limited to that which a driver can apply over here on the pedal. So this lies in the range of 100 to 120 Newton, okay, because without fatigueness the driver can apply a load of 100 to 120 Newton. So this puts a limitation over the axial force to be taken while calculation or while designing the clutches. Okay, so we have to choose our axial load accordingly for calculation of the total torque to be transmitted by the clutch. Okay, then effective mean radius also plays a role, because we cannot make a clutch of larger diameter. Okay, see this is the diameter of the clutch, so this is clutch plate. So it plays a major role because the value of effective mean radius cannot be increased beyond a certain maximum, which depends upon the space available in the particular type of car. Because if we make a bigger size plate, then it requires a bigger space. So sometimes it is not possible that we have space inside the engine compartment or inside the bonnet. Okay. So now we'll talk about the single plate clutch. That is a dry type of clutch fitted with friction material. Okay. So here we can see that the basic components are clutch pedal, fulcrum pin, bearing, clutch shaft, is a pressure plate, then friction lining, these are friction lining, these are clutch springs, you can see here also flywheel, engine shaft, and this is clutch shaft. So as I told in the starting that this engine shaft transmits the power through this flywheel. Okay, this flywheel is attached to engine shaft. On flywheel we have a friction material that sticks the clutch over the flywheel. So when they are in contact with each other, then only the torque is being transmitted to this part. Okay, that is clutch shaft, and this clutch shaft is connected to the gearbox. Okay, input shaft or clutch shaft. And this pressure plate plays a major role, because when the driver pushes the pedal, then this will come back against the spring force. When this pressure plate comes back against the spring force, then what will happen? The axial load that was applied through this friction material over the flywheel is released, and due to this release in axial load, what will happen? This part will start swinging, okay, freely. The flywheel will be rotating, but this part will not be rotating. Okay, so we can see that there are springs, that these springs, the number may vary as per our requirement. These springs provides the axial force basically. Okay, so as I have told you that the clutch is always in engaged position, so these springs plays a vital role in engaging the clutch. So these provides the axial force. In this cut section, it's a half section, so it's a full section, so we can see that two springs are seen, but circumferentially we have a number of springs depending upon the axial load to be applied. Okay, and we can see that the friction plate is mounted on a hub. Okay, this is hub. Okay, which is splined from inside, and thus it is free to slide over the gearbox shaft. So this is splined hub, so there is a spline shaft that is fitted. Okay, so friction facing is attached to the friction plate on both sides. As we have seen here, it is fitted on both the sides. Okay, to provide two annular friction surfaces for the transmission of power. A pedal is provided to pull the pressure plate against the spring force whenever it is required to engage or disengage. Okay, so I have told you that it is normally in engaged position. So what happens? Principally we see when the clutch pedal is pressed from here, the pressure plate is moved to the right side against the force of the spring. Okay, and this is achieved by using this particular linkage, With this movement of the pressure plate, the friction plate is released and the clutch is disengaged. Okay, so this is the principle. So what is the benefit? With single plate clutch, the benefits are gear engaging is easier, because they can be the drive can be disconnected from the engine to the gearbox. So engagement of the gear become simple because there is no torque is transmitted at that time. Okay, so it does not suffer from disadvantage of cone clutches like binding of clutches, and hence it is more reliable. The limitations of this sort of clutch is, if we compare it with a cone clutch, the springs have to be more stiffer, and these springs plays a major role because they have to provide the axial force. Okay, so these are used widely in various manufacturing, various automobiles and various cars, trucks, buses, etc. So from here we can see the operation. This shows the clutch in disengaged position. So you can see here, this is the friction plate. Okay, clutch plate, friction plate. So this plate is not stuck with the flywheel because the pressure is being released as the driver has pressed the pedal. So this pressing has, due to this pivot effect, has pulled this um, this pressure plate back, due to which, against the spring force, due to which this becomes free. And in fact the crankshaft is rotating, flywheel is rotating, but the power is not transmitted to the output shaft, but here it is shown in engaged position. So we can see here that the pressure plate is in contact with the flywheel. So whatever the rpm the crankshaft is rotating will be transmitted to the output shaft or clutch shaft. So this is the operation of a single plate clutch. Okay, so we can see here diaphragm clutch. Diaphragm clutch, principally it has the same principle. Okay, so that is similar in construction to that of single plate clutch, but what is the difference? See here, we can see the difference. The components are similar: flywheel, clutch plate, pressure plate, these are similar. Clutch cover, i was I have explained this this as the housing. Diaphragm spring, instead of fitting the coil springs, we have used a diaphragm type of spring here. So this we can see that diaphragm is like it is twisted. Okay, so throwout bearing, this is throwout bearing. So this diaphragm has a property, then when it is pressed at the center, these ends will come out. When the pressure is released, these ends will come inside. Okay, so when the pressure is released, okay, driver uh, freeze the clutch pedal, then what will happen? This pressure plate will go on left side and will push this clutch plate against the flywheel. Okay, so this will be enabling the transmission of power. So in this case we have a diaphragm in place of springs. We have a diaphragm. Okay, so in free condition the diaphragm is in conical form. If it is freed, that is in a conical form. Okay, but when it is assembled, it is constrained an approximately flat condition, because of which exerts a load upon the pressure plate. Okay, so we can see here the type of diaphragms that are being used. So these are the housing, this outer housing fitted over the or bolted over the flywheel, and these are diaphragm springs. Okay, so as we can see, it is conical in nature. Okay, this is from the bottom side. So when we press over this part, what will happen? Against the pivot, the ends will come opposite direction. If we press it bottomward, the ends will come upward, right? So this is the principle. So another example of diaphragm here. So we can clearly see that this is a disc which is curved. Okay, so we can change its position by pressing the diaphragm spring at the center part. So this will, when we press at the center, this will come out. So these slots are provided to release the heat as well as to save the material. Okay, so we can see here when pressed up to certain limit, this diaphragm will be a straight like component or a straight one. But in case of disengaged position, when the driver presses the pedal, what will happen? See this curve. See this curve. Observe these two figures at a time. First, second, engage, disengage, engage, disengage, engage, disengage. Can you see here? Engage, disengage. So in case of engage, this blue one, the diaphragm spring is straight is in straight position, but in disengaged condition it is curved. Now see the difference. So due to which what is happening here, see this, when it is straight, so some force is applied over it so that it comes to straight position, so it engages the friction material with the flywheel. Okay, so the drive will be transmitted, but when it is pressed further it will be curved, due to which this part will be freed from the flywheel, so this will not transmit the torque. Okay, so now we summarize what we have studied here. So we have seen that the friction plate is held between the flywheel and the pressure plate. Okay, there are springs arranged circumferentially in case of single plate clutch which provide axial force to keep the clutch in engaged position. Okay, we have seen that the friction plate is mounted on a hub which is splined from inside and thus free to slide over the gearbox shaft. Friction facing is attached to the friction plate on both sides to provide two annular friction surfaces for the transmission of power. A pedal is provided to pull the pressure plate, we have seen that, against the spring force whenever it is required to disengage. Okay, so we'll see this material list of the clutch component, and this has been adopted from ARAI, Automotive Research Association of India, Pune. So talking about the components, like cover plate, the outer housing is made of mild steel. Okay, diaphragm spring is made of spring steel, coil springs are made of spring steel, pressure plate cast iron, clutch disc mild steel, friction facing asbestos base. We have discussed the coefficient of friction is 0.3 to 0.4. Okay, rivets on facing is aluminum brass, damper spring spring steel, clutch hub mild steel, bolts to fasten flywheel and cover plate steel, rivets on cushion springs brass, retainer springs spring steel. Okay, damper spring retainer plate mild steel, cushion spring mild steel. So we have seen this material, almost we have used the mild steel, asbestos, aluminum and spring steel for entire materials of the clutch plate. Okay, so now talking about the multiple plate clutch. So this is used when large torque is to be transmitted, that is motor cars and machine tools. Okay, within limited space. So multiple clutch is used when compact construction is required, like motorcycles, scooters, even in mopeds. So as I have told you that while designing this clutch plate, the effective radius of the clutch plate plays a major role. So that has to be taken care, because if we increase the effective radius, then it will require a lot of space. Okay, and may cause other problems too. So it will be a wastage of material too. So the main constraint is the space required. So that's why, in spite of using a larger disc of large effective radius, we can use multiple discs. Okay, so this multiple plate clutch is basically an extension of single plate type, where the number of frictional and the metal plates is increased. So in spite of using a single plate, we are using multiple plate and multiple pressure plates. So this increase in number of friction surfaces certainly increases the capacity of the clutch to transmit torque, because as we have seen that the torque depends upon mu, coefficient of friction mu, axial load W, and R is the mean radius. So if we increase the effective radius by means of increasing the number of plates, then obviously the torque transmission capacity may be improved. Okay, so in this type of clutch, the overall diameter of the clutch plate is reduced because we are using multiple plate clutch. So we can obtain the same torque using multiple number of clutch plates. So this type of clutch is used in heavy transport vehicles and racing cars because we have to transmit a large amount of torque. Okay, this also can be used in scooters, motorcycles due to space availability limitation, right? So we can see here the constructional details are almost similar, but there is a single pressure plate followed by multiple friction materials or clutch plate. So the bearings are like these are bearings. Okay, this is spring, clutch shaft, friction lining, and these are clutch plates. So multiple clutch plates. So one set of plate is attached to the flywheel. It rotates with the flywheel. So it has a slot. It is fitted inside the flywheel, and other set is fitted over this pressure plate. Okay. So one set rotates with the pressure plate that has a friction material on both the ends. Okay. So when this pressure plate applies the pressure, all the friction materials are stick with the plates which are fitted over the flywheel. So some plates are the plates which are with outer teeth which are fitted over the flywheel, and some are having the inner teeth which are fitted on the shaft. Okay. So in this way the drive can be transmitted. When the driver pushes the pedal, what will happen? Due to this fulcrum pin, this part will come backward and the pressure on the pressure plate is released. Okay. So this release of pressure plate will let the clutch plates to be freely rotating. Okay. Although the flywheel will be rotating, but the drive will not be transmitted to the output shaft or clutch shaft. Okay. So we can see here some sprung unsprung clutches. This is fitted with a torsional spring. Okay, this is hub which is splined from inside. So these springs cushions, these are known as cushioning springs. So this provide a cushioning effect. Okay. So because while transmitting the torque, there is a tendency of the entire clutch plate to be twisted around about a certain direction. So they will oppose the twisting effect. So they are known as cushioning springs. Okay, torsion springs. And this friction material also provides a cushioning effect because they are made of asbestos or cork. Okay, so they also provide a cushioning effect. So they are friction material, they stick with the flywheel surface. So there are some clutches that may be having or fitted with these springs, or there are some clutches which do not have these springs. So here we can see an exploded view of a multi-plate clutch. Okay, consisting of diaphragm plate, this pressure plate, this friction material 1, friction material 2 fitted over flywheel. These are pressure plates. Okay, so when pressed together they form a single unit, and here we can observe that what happens in case of multiple plate clutch that has a multiple number of clutch plates. Okay, so we'll summarize here the advantage of multiple plate clutch. That is basically we have discussed, it's an extension of single plate type clutch where the number of frictional and metal plates are increased. The increase in the number of friction surface increases the capacity of the clutch to transmit the torque while the size remains same. So this type of clutch is used in heavy transport vehicles and racing cars, heavy trucks where high torque transmission as a single plate is required. Okay, these may be fitted in scooters, motorcycles due to less space available. And these are friction discs. Okay, these are the torn discs. See this? These are broken. Okay, and these are friction material made of asbestos. So cushion springs basically weighed metal between clutch halves, and these dampens the clutch engagement. Okay, though other types are there, torsional springs. These can be spring or rubber. These basically dampers the power impulsor from the crankshaft. Torsional springs we can see here also. Okay, these are has pins to limit amount of twist. Springs try to keep it centered between pins. Okay, so the disc has certain friction material that is not very thick. It is around 0.012 inches. Okay, So principally, the principle of operation of cone clutch is similar to that of single plate clutch, but instead of using a plate material, these are cones basically. The female cone and a male cone, they are engaged together, consisting of a friction material. Entire process of operation is same, but the engagement disengagement process is in such a way that there is a female cone and a male cone, they are engaged together when pressed. Okay, when the driver pushes the pedal, so this male cone will come back towards right side, so the drive will be disengaged. Entire process is similar to the principle of operation of single plate clutch. So we can see here that in this type the contact surfaces are in the form of cones, maybe male cone and female cone. In the engaged position, the male cone is fully inside the female cone, so that the friction surfaces are in complete contact. So this basically action is meant by using springs which keep the male cone pressed all the time. When the clutch is engaged, the torque transmitted from the engine via the flywheel and the male cone to the spline gearbox shaft. Okay. When the clutch is disengaged, the male cone is pulled out by the lever system operated through the clutch plate, thereby separating the contact surfaces. So about the cone clutch, we have seen that principally it's similar in working as that of single plate clutch and multiple plate clutch. Only the constructional details are different. Okay, so this can be visualized from here. So we have friction material over the male clutch, and this is female part having a spline shaft. These are springs. So entire mechanism is similar for operation. This friction material engages with the with this surface, that is female cone. Okay, so this is very simple in operation. So we have some other type of clutches like centrifugal clutch, because the faster the RPM, the harder the clutch disc is squeezed. So that basically works with the centrifugal force. Okay, if we increase the speed of the car, what will happen? Some spring loaded balls are there, they will come out and will produce some effect. So you can see from this figure, when these are some balls, okay, so these are pivots. So what will happen? Due to increase in speed, due to centrifugal action, these balls will come out, and due to this action, what will happen? There is a motion towards this direction that will press the pressure plate. Okay, so in this case of centrifugal type of clutch, basically the springs are eliminated together, and only the centrifugal force is used to apply the pressure. Okay, to keep the clutch in required engaged position. So the advantage of the centrifugal clutch is that no separate clutch pedal is required. In this case, no pedal is required. Okay, when the driver increases the speed of the engine, this automatically gets engaged. In some scooties, you have seen that they are basically gearless. So when we increase the speed of the scooty or engines, then what will happen? Then the clutch comes in engaged position and the scooty moves on. Okay, this means that the car can be stopped in a gear without stalling the engine, basically. So similarly, while starting, the driver can first select the gear, put the car into the gear, and simply press the accelerator pedal. So this makes the driving operation very easy. Okay, so from here we can see the action. These are the balls. When it is rotated, it will come out. So this will apply a pressure over this part, and this will be turning to engage the clutch plate. Okay, so these are centrifugal clutches. So this system employs centrifugal force to automatically engage the clutch when the engine RPM rises above a particular value. Okay, so like in mopeds, it is fitted, and some other applications are also there, like in chainsaw this can be used. So exploded view of centrifugal clutch can be seen from here. Okay, so that entirely depends upon the speed of the engine. By increasing the speed of the engine, the joining of the clutch plate with the flywheel will be more firmer. So we'll summarize here. In the fully centrifugal type of clutches, the springs are eliminated together and only centrifugal force is applied to apply the required pressure or keeping the clutch in engaged position. So the benefit of the centrifugal clutch is that no separate pedal is required, as we have seen here. That entirely depends upon the motion of that lever assembly, which is being operated by centrifugal action. Okay, so here we can see that the clutch operation may be automatic, that depends upon engine speed. So with that effect, the car can be stopped in any gear without stalling the engine, because we have to decrease the or deaccelerate the car only. Okay. So some other clutches are there that are known as hydraulic clutch. So they are simple in construction. The mechanical means are basically replaced by hydraulic means. So they can easily control mechanical advantage with piston sizes. They are self-lubricating. No motor mount problems are there. This sort of clutches, and they are similarly like brakes. Okay, hydraulic brakes. So these assemblies are being operated by the hydraulic fluid. Okay, so this is less complicated as compared to mechanical means, and they wear basically less as compared to mechanical systems. Okay, so we can see here hydraulic clutches may be fitted with master cylinders and slave cylinder. They uses a brake fluid like braking system, and that's why they must be bred. They must be bled whenever required, because some air may be entrapped inside that system, so that must be bled as and when required.